Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 140, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I am here on a Saturday night recording a podcast with Brian Hall.
Yeah! Makes me think of that song, S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y, night. You know that song?
I do.
I haven't thought about that in maybe a decade.
Well, this is what adulting looks like, Brian.
Yeah.
We're sitting here
Get to hang out with my best bud, Zachy, on a Saturday night. What else could I want?
Well, this is true. This is true, and it feels like a little while, and you know, we're bouncing back and forth, and we're like, we don't have anything really to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, January is kind of notoriously a dry month for movies, and well, not dry, but typically the things that come on aren't stuff we're very much interested in, except for the Liam Neeson's movie, by the way.
Which, did you see it?
I didn't. I really would like to, though. At this point, I'll probably wait for streaming or whatever. But
Liam is disappointed in you, Brian.
I know. What would he
like,
say?
The movie is doing okay, but Brian didn't go to see it, and that's disappointing.
Well, you know, I still love my Liam Neeson movies, so I will get to it for sure.
I'll always make action movies for you, Brian. Just for you.
Thank you, Liam. Dark Man himself.
That was the first movie I ever saw Liam Neeson in, was Darkman.
Same. I saw like a good 20-minute chunk of it a couple months ago, and I was like, man, this movie's crazier than I remember.
It is.
Like,
it's very
stylized.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I like it. Like, I
right.
You know, I keep going back and forth.
It's bonkers, and I really enjoyed it as like an early teen.
Yes.
You know, but I don't know that I've seen it all the way through since then. So I don't know if I would like it now.
Yeah, I have there's like a spell of kind of that type, those superhero type movies from before, like, the superhero genre was in full blossom like it is now, where you sort of took what you got, right? Especially if you're a comic book nerd like me. I mean, you know, your options were fairly limited, and so I have these movies like The Rocketeer is like legit good, so I'll file that one separately. But like The Shadow from 1994 with Alec Baldwin,
yeah, or The Phantom.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned if I don't like that movie.
Which one, Phantom or Shadow?
The Shadow is more objectively bad than the Phantom.
Really? Okay. I haven't seen either.
You haven't seen either of them at all?
No.
Oh, well then, see, you need to be like my hamster, who I administer like the gamma formula to, and see what happens to you like 24 hours from now.
All right.
Like, I need you to watch both of those.
I'm curious. Like, if I'm struggling to find something some night, I will put some alert for myself or whatever. Like, oh yeah, Zachy wants me to watch The Phantom. 1996's Billy Zane starring The Phantom.
Like, let me put it this way. I'll go to the mat to defend The Phantom while acknowledging that you need to climb over the hurdle of spending, 120 minutes with Billy Zane in a purple body stocking. And that's just something you're either going to be down with or you're not.
But you know what, though? Growing up in the 90s, I am definitely sort of dialed into that time and style of action film and whatnot. So who knows? This could be like a cool, undiscovered movie I might end up enjoying.
The Phantom, you might. Yeah, the Shadow is one of the. I mean, I think there's bits and pieces of it that are quite good. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know. It's weird because for me, whenever I see Alec Baldwin as a serious actor, that itself is a high hurdle now, because to me he's just Jack Donaghy.
Right. Sure.
But I got to say, because I was just watching some of that the other day, and he would have been a great Bruce Wayne. Like, if we're talking like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I can see that for
You know?
sure. Yeah,
A more classical Bruce Wayne than sort of a balding socialite Michael Keaton.
that's funny.
But I'd be curious. I'd be curious to what you thought of either of those.
Yeah, all right. That'll be on my. I actually do have like a. People recommend things to you, and then you sort of forget them. And I actually have made like a little Word document when I write down what people recommend to me. So when I'm sort of stuck, I'll go to the list. So I'll put it on there.
There we go.
Yeah, and I just want to throw out there too to the listeners and to you. I'm still getting over this cough a little bit, so excuse me if I have to clear my throat a little bit. I'll try to hit the mute button as best I can.
You sound breathy and seductive, Brian. You sound like what's her name? Serial mom, Kathleen Turner.
Oh, Kathleen Turner, Serial Mom. I love, not Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Or like,
and I love that out of all of Kathleen Turner's movies, that's the one I pulled.
Serial Mom. Yeah. Romancing the Stone. Or
Anywho, so this, as we said up top, this is kind of the dead time, but there are random older releases that we haven't had a chance to check out. Anything you've seen, Brian?
I think we should trademark the dead time, by the way, and make a movie around that.
We should.
Second,
the dead time.
The dead time. A week ago, so last Saturday, I went to the Egyptian Theater, historic Egyptian theater down in Hollywood, and I saw a classic, a modern classic, The Room. Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which we've been talking about lately because of The Disaster Artist, the James Franco, I guess, biopic, true story, whatever you want to call it, about the making of this film, the notoriously one of the worst movies ever made. And so, I mean, I don't think I have to get too much into what this movie is, but it was interesting because I didn't realize how worldwide this phenomenon has become. I did think it was still a little like an LA kind of thing, but apparently this is like huge, and it's huge all over the world, like London, and he goes all over traveling, screening this movie. But anyway, and the last time I had seen it was like 2010 or something like that. And so I just wondered what this crowd would be like. Would this be people who knew all... Okay, so I guess I should back up. This is sort of like a Rocky Horror sort of experience when you see it live in a theater. Mm-hmm. So there's, for instance, in the movie, there are pictures of spoons, or a picture of a spoon in a picture frame. And whenever that is on screen, people yell spoon and throw plastic spoons at the screen.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I saw in 2010. So I was wondering if it would be that type of audience in 2018. So anyway, we go, and it's a group of us, and half of us had seen it and half of us hadn't. And first things first, they put us in a merch line. They like directed us into a merch line.
Oh, weird.
And I was a little surprised to see that they had all this merch. I mean, there's T-shirts. He has his own line of boxer briefs.
I did know about that.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, the point was
So
to
weird.
buy the merch so you could meet him.
And then he would sign it.
Or something. And at first we were like, nah, that's fine. Let's just go get our seats. And then we're like, no, wait, if Tommy Wiseau is here, that's why we're here. You know what I mean? Like, let's go meet him. So anyway, I ended up buying... Oh, and I should add, I was very surprised by this. It was all reasonably priced. Like, the T-shirts were $10, which I was like, you could charge $30 for these things and people would pay for them.
Yeah.
But I ended up buying a screenplay of The Room. And so we went up as a group of four of us and met Tommy. And he was very, very nice. And I kind of wondered if he would be a little like in a zone. Because, I mean, they were moving this really long line really fast. But for as quick as the interaction was, he was very personable, actually. Signed my script. He put, I don't have it in front of me, but something about like to Brian, put a heart with an arrow through it. And then he put P.S. Be good on my script. And we took a picture with him. And when we looked at the picture later, we were shocked. It is a wonderful picture. He looks
I thought
very...
you'd be like he wasn't in it. Like,
Turns out Tommy was all of us. No, but he's got this great smile on his face, and he shook all our hands, and I was like, that made me very happy. And
yeah.
So then we get seated for the screening, and he goes in, he's ready to answer some questions, and he's still in his own kind of funny way, is a little not aloof, but just quirky. But everyone who was there to ask the questions you could genuinely tell they weren't trying to stymie him or make fun of him. Like, everyone in that room truly loves him. And I did too. He was so charming. And I was like, actually, especially after seeing The Disaster Artist, out of all the merch I could pick, I wanted to pick the script because I was like, you know what? This is a guy who had a fire in his belly and no one was going to give him a shot. No one in hell was going to give this guy a shot. And he was like, then screw it, I'll do it myself. And he wrote this script and he did his thing. And now he's made tons of money off of it. So I kind of appreciated the script in a way. And that's why I wanted him to sign it if I was going to buy anything.
Right.
So Q&A is great. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's cheering for him, whatever. And then the movie starts and we're all laughing at the movie. And it actually took me a second. And I was like, this man is in hell. Like, this man is in the Twilight Zone. Because this is like the perfect Twilight Zone episode. You want to become a beloved artist. You want to become a beloved filmmaker and make a movie that everybody loves. So he did. He put himself out there, made this movie. He's filling out rooms, theaters all over the world of people that love him and love his movie, but they show up to laugh at it.
Right.
Like that, isn't that like the twist? And at first I was like, oh, I just the jarring juxtaposition was like, oh, it kind of made me feel a little bad.
Yeah.
But I was like, but this is what it is. This is what it's become. And I truly don't believe everyone is doing it out of malice. I think people joyfully like watching this movie, and that's what it has become, this call and response movie, and it has its inside jokes and whatnot. So it was, and when it was over, we had a blast. The people who hadn't seen the movie all loved it, and we're like, yeah, we could definitely do this again.
Let me ask you, Brian.
Yeah.
Would you want to be famous like Tommy Wiseau?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. I truly do wonder if you could really ask him, because he's sort of, according to even Greg Sestero, who's the guy who wrote The Disaster Artist book about the making, and he is the co-star in the movie and apparently very good friends with Tommy.
Yeah.
He says that Tommy has changed his tune a little bit and been like, yeah, of course, I made this way on purpose, and it's for everybody to laugh and to cry and to have a good time together. And it's a little hard to believe.
Yeah.
And maybe he has to believe that. I don't know.
I mean,
no, I definitely.
sometimes a pleasing fiction is more palatable than an unpleasant truth, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. How about you?
If I'm in on the joke,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not laughing at me. I'm laughing with them.
Yeah.
Would I want to be famous? That I think I wouldn't want to be famous at all, to be honest. You know.
Oh yeah.
There's a great quote by Bill Murray where he says, people come up to him and they say, "Oh man, I'd love to be rich and famous," and he says, "Try being rich first and see if that doesn't take care of most of it." And I always think about that. And I'm like, certainly when you're younger, there's sort of a narcotic appeal, the idea of being recognized and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
But for me, as I've gotten older, I'm more like, I just want to have my needs taken care of, and I just want to be able to do what I love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Comfortably. Like, I don't care about being known and whatnot. Like that has very little appeal to me.
Right.
Especially because we've lowered the bar for what constitutes fame.
that's good. Point.
I was reading about these two mouth-breathing idiots, Logan Paul and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And I have to know about this stuff to some extent because I'm a media instructor. But I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
If you don't know who these guys are, there's these clowns who are known for being YouTube celebrities. And what I say is, if you have to couch the kind of celebrity you are by affixing the word YouTube in front of it, you're not really a celebrity.
Right.
Well, that's cool. That's an interesting little anecdote that you have.
Yeah, it was a really fun experience, and I would definitely recommend it. I really do think it's a fun time, and I was curious. We brought some people. One person in particular, I didn't know if she was gonna get into it or be like, well, that was an interesting experience. But by the end, everyone was having a blast in that room.
That's great.
So the room.
There you go. Yeah. Blast in the room, watching the room. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am currently watching movies with a considerably bigger budget than The Room. I'm going through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there was somebody like did the math, and they figured out that from January of this year, like if you from the first week of January, if you watch one MCU movie a week, you'll finish just in time to watch Avengers: Infinity War.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's whatever it is, 18, 19, whatever. I don't know the exact number.
It's cool how it times out, though.
It just kind of worked out that way. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. And so I told the boys, I was like, hey, why don't we do this? And you know, my oldest remembers them more. But I mean, for my younger ones, second and down, they all just kind of blur together. It's sort of like, you know, what I would imagine it was like for us when we were young and we thought of Star Wars. Like it was just all three of them were kind of in a little glob, you know?
Right.
So we're going through them piece by piece, and it's been fun watching them the whole way through, because usually I just kind of, you know, pop it on and I'll see this scene or whatever. But going through chronologically, and you really see all the seeding that they've done and how they really have made an effort to make the movies fit together reasonably well. But there's also a series of little shorts that they did that sort of fit in between the movies.
Yeah, and they would include them on the Blu-rays.
They're on the Blu-ray, and they're also on the digital copies too. So like for example, there's an Agent Carter short, which is kind of like the de facto pilot for what became the Agent Carter TV series. And it shows like what happened to Peggy Carter immediately after Captain America 1. You know, it's like a neat little thing. You know, and they did put some money into these things. I mean, the Agent Carter short co-stars Bradley Whitford, for example, and what's his name, Dominic Cooper's in it, and Neil McDonough and stuff. So I mean, they had the money to spend on this stuff.
Right.
And then they also did a series of shorts starring Agent Coulson. And it's neat, you know. It's for me, again, it's fun to experience it through the kids' eyes. We actually just literally maybe 20 minutes before I got on mic with you, we just watched the first Avengers.
Okay.
And the fun part is that they'll be like, oh, are we watching, you know, the next Marvel movie tonight? You know, and so it's something that they're looking forward to, which is nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that everybody enjoys it. It's, well, yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of rare, right, when everyone can enjoy something together. So that's fun.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy because this May will, in addition to being the release of Avengers: Infinity War, it'll mark 10 years since Iron Man.
Wow.
Right?
10 years. I can't tell if that seems like exactly as long as I thought, or shorter, or longer.
It's weird. It's odd because for me, obviously, just measuring it in terms of my kids. I mean, my oldest was 1 year old.
Wow.
You know?
Okay, so that's weird.
Right. And now he just turned 11, and he's like fully plugged into this stuff. So that's just cool, you know. I mean, for him, it's just these things have been a part of his life from the cradle, basically.
Wow, that's weird.
Know? So I'm having fun with that. So if y'all listening, if you haven't been doing that MCU rewatch thing, hey, it's still January, so get caught up and you know, get going. You might have some fun. And we got Black Panther, by the way, coming up in just a few weeks, so that'll be not our next episode, but the episode after.
Wow, coming quick.
Yeah. But in addition to some headlines, we do have some listener letters referencing previous episodes and just sort of random questions that people have. So I figured let's take some time to answer those.
Yeah.
So this is from Charles Landy in response to our previous episode where we did our favorite movies of last year. And he says, great lists from both Zachy and Brian. In a perfect world, we'd be posting in a 1,000-comment thread about The Post. I loved it, but the more I think about some of the shots and sequences in it, the more it really solidifies itself in my brain as a classic. There's so many shots in this movie that could be made into paintings. The slow-mo sweep of Meryl coming down the stairs after the hearing with all the newly inspired young women cheering her on. The last shot in the printing room with the requisite Spielberg lighting making the room glow. The close-ups of the printing press being utilized, and good God, the wide shot of Meryl sitting at the table in her house with all the men perfectly arranged around her as she makes her decision. Gorgeous. That shot alone should be printed on the back of a piece of currency.
I know I know I mentioned, and I'm certain you agreed. He's not doing anything flashy in this movie, but if you are paying attention and if you're kind of attuned to his style, I mean, it's him being a master effortlessly.
Yes.
Watching that movie, his direction is so low key but so intentional, and I think it's making you feel things you don't realize you're feeling because he's doing it so well and so subtly.
Well, and I think the problem, to whatever extent there's a problem, the reason people aren't talking about this movie, and it got like just about shut out at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we'll talk about that in just a second. But I mean, I think that Spielberg, we're just used to him performing at such a high level always, that what is like a home run for most directors is like a base hit for Spielberg.
Right.
And I think that's the Post. I mean, it's deceptively simple.
Right.
And so, or reverse, I should say, it's deceptively complicated.
Yeah, right.
It looks simple,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a problem. But folks, as I said in the last episode, I mean, it's my favorite movie of last year. I think it's tremendous, and I mean, you should watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it too.
And actually, I mean, and I to be honest, I wonder how much of not specifically the response to the Post, but in general, a lot of movies these days is do I need to rush out and see that?
Mm-mm. Are you asking?
I'm just letting the question hang in the air, Brian.
Yeah.
Let us ponder that. I think that the question of, in a broad sense, I think the industry is really evolving, and a movie like The Post is not deemed, let's go to the theater and watch. It's, let's stay in and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that there's just not as much of a market, unless you can be a really like a zeitgeisty type movie like Get Out, which really did come out of nowhere and got people talking organically about it. I feel like the market for non-blockbuster spectacle cinema is non-blockbuster, non-spectacle cinema is drying up.
Sadly.
Yeah. It's a shame.
This reminds me of a thought I had. So, and we have already sort of said this, but a lot of people think of January as a dump month, right? Like you get these low rent horror movies and whatnot, this stuff the studios are like, we made it, we gotta do something with it, throw it out in January, no one cares.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean, Brian?
No. See, in that, the bright spot are all the Liam Neeson movies. But I was thinking, it's funny because, you and I live in cities where limited releases often come out. So when I think of something like The Post or Phantom Thread or whatever, to me that's a December movie, right? But that's really only for select cities you could possibly count on one hand. So otherwise, all of these movies are coming out really across the nation in January.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, a lot of prestige movies come out in January, but the people who've coined it dump month, I wonder, are just living in cities where, they've already had those films for a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. That's just a thought.
It's yet another example of all them liberal coastal elites, Brian.
Come on, I come from a flyover state. Little love,
dumping all over the flyover country. Yeah. Thank you for that, Charles. Here's a comment from Doug O'Loughlin, and he says, listening now, and what a spot-on observation about Wonder Woman. With a woman director who's talented, she's heroic in spite of a skimpy outfit, but later in Justice League we saw her in tight pants and shorts and camera angles that maybe emphasized her sexuality a bit more. That was one thing I took out of Justice League in spite of enjoying it. And it's true. I mean, that's one comment that I've gotten a couple times in response to the conversation we were having is it was noticeable. And what's interesting to me is whether it be Zack Snyder or Joss Whedon. I mean, certainly Joss Whedon has always been known as a quote-unquote feminist filmmaker, and at one time he was supposed to direct Wonder Woman. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. He wrote a script.
He wrote a script, and so it's very interesting that even he fell prey to that to some extent.
Right.
Right. This is a tweet that we got, and this is from Maddie Feck at Maddie Amazing on Twitter, and he said, and this is Brian. I know this is something that you can make a meal out of. He says, please wax philosophically for like 25 to 30 minutes about how Breaking Bad is the greatest TV show of all time. and Breaking Bad just celebrated its 10th anniversary.
Yeah, I've been enjoying. I haven't read them, but I saw there's a lot of oral histories going around.
Oh, they're so good.
I've bookmarked a bunch of them, and I just find a time, sit down, and read
Breaking
all of them,
Bad. You know, let me ask you this. I mean, because was turned on to Breaking Bad because of you.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of that show 5 years removed from its finale? Has it stood the test of time in your memory? I'm assuming you have not rewatched it.
I have caught maybe an episode or two when they have like a marathon
Sure.
on AMC randomly, and I am always brought back in.
Okay.
And I think that is why it is that good, because a lot of times a show leans on its surprising moments, maybe, right, or doing something shocking, and that can be fun when you're watching it, but that doesn't mean you want to go back and revisit the whole thing. And I think why this show is so good is it did have those shocking moments and those sort of big reveals and whatnot, but when it really came down to it, the characters were just that good. And they were just that compelling and well-written and interesting and surprising. And so you could jump into any episode, not even one that is remembered as being a big episode, and you will probably not want to turn the channel. Like, it was just that well-written, that well-acted, and that well-directed. So I think they completely hold up.
Yeah, it's. I think honestly, with the passage of time, I think it's really only solidified how Breaking Bad in a lot of ways felt like lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And it really did, I think, reshape the TV industry in its wake towards this idea of creating novels.
Yes.
With a clear beginning, middle, and end, and because there've been. It's funny because I feel like Breaking Bad has remained in the zeitgeist in a way that Mad Men, for example, has not.
Yes, sure.
Right, and people still talk about Better Call Saul, and it's still a very buzzy show, and so that's a little bit of the Breaking Bad effect there.
It's funny, the building that I work in, the Better Call Saul people are in there also.
Oh, okay.
And so every now and then when I'm at the elevators, I'll see Vince Gilligan. And, obviously they were on hiatus for a while. And I just saw him this past week. And I was like, just like nod at him, whatever, get in the elevator. And then when the door's shut, I'm like, Better Call Saul's coming back. They're working again.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I love that show.
So both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Well, Better Call Saul is kind of like, in pencil, it's one of the greats. We still need to know how it's going to wrap up.
Yeah, I'm curious if they will try to bring it back around to Breaking Bad or...
Yeah.
Don't know. But yeah, for people, I mean, we've talked about it a lot in here before, but I would say my general thing with Better Call Saul is when it started, of course I was going to watch it because I was a Breaking Bad fan. I think season 1 is good, but slow. And it's in search of itself. And then season 2, it just completely knows what it is, and it just takes off with what I just mentioned for Breaking Bad. Just great characters and really intriguing journeys for them that I've said it on here also. Sometimes episodes end and I get angry. They're so good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like that. It's just insane that something that good just keeps getting put out every week. I mean, Those guys are just on fire.
Vince Gilligan and his motley crew of writers there.
Yeah.
So here's a question on Twitter from Mark, and this is a Back to the Future question, Brian. So this is why I throw to you, the BTTF expert in my life. He says, Doc made the plan so precise in regards to the lightning strike hitting the clock tower at 10:04. How come Marty still made it, even though he was clearly
I knew exactly where this is going.
25 to 40 seconds late after the alarm went off? It's the only flaw to me in an otherwise perfect film. Do you have the answer?
I feel like I've heard Bob Gale address this, actually.
Okay.
And he was saying that Doc, that just shows that Doc does have his quirks, and he can miss a remainder, and whatnot, and thank God for it, I guess.
So thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Mark.
It's funny because he does stall out for like a
right.
good
It's
chunk
true.
there. Yeah. It's really funny.
It's funny. I was a couple days ago. I saw this picture of the new Henry Cavill sideshow toy, or like Hot Toys. Henry Cavill Superman figure from Justice League, and I was like, oh man, this is great. And I don't know if you're familiar with Hot Toys, these are like super high end 12-inch action figures.
And they look insanely lifelike.
Insanely, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like, man, I might have to take the plunge on one of these. And Matty Feck, one of our listeners, is like, you if you start, it's going to be hard to let go.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, bah, I say, and I pre-ordered the Cavill one. And then 2 days later, I'm like, hey, there's a Christopher Reeve Superman Hot Toys. I should get that. And then like that same day, I'm like, hey, there's a Michael Keaton Batman Hot Toys. I should get that. So both of those are on their way now. And then I bring it Back to the Future because this morning I got a thing in my email like, oh, get Back to the Future 2 Marty and Doc. And I'm like, so yeah.
I feel like tattoos.
Those are on their way now.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I think I have a problem, Brian.
Wait, can I share a story?
Yes.
That I think related to this from the package I got this week?
Yes.
Okay, so we did our ET commentary, and during the commentary, we brought up the fact that, in '82, this was a worldwide phenomenon, ET. And when it was, and it's still a classic, and I think people probably still show it to their kids, and it's still beloved, but it's not the sort of merchandising juggernaut it probably was back in '82. And there was an Onion article that Zachy and I had both seen and laugh about, where it said, on its
E.T.
20th
toys
anniversary,
forced on uninterested children.
Yeah, E.T. toys forced on uninterested children. And I was laughing because it's so true, but it made me sad too because I love E.T. so much. So anyway, then this past week I get a package in the mail from Zachy, and it's action figures of Elliot, Gertie, and E.T.
Yeah.
like a little set. And it was just, I really appreciated it. It made me laugh because I loved it, because I love those characters, but it also made me laugh per our commentary and just the comments we were making.
Well, I think that toy had a production run of 1, so
Happy to have it.
you've got a very exclusive. Yeah, I saw that online. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta send this over to Brian. So I didn't send it so that I wasn't fishing for like a compliment on the show, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring it up, but the Onion article could be now, E.T. toy beloved by aging 30-year-old.
And by the way, Brian, you're not 30 years old, so.
No, 30 plus. No, I meant 30 something is what I meant. 30-year-old.
Even that, enjoy that while it lasts. The clock is ticking on that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the people who were my students my first year as a teacher are now 30 plus.
What?
Well, yeah, think about it, right?
Oh, of course, because I forgot. Because yes, they are college age when you first had them.
Yeah, so if you,
but that's still significant. Yeah,
it's just weird. Like when I realized that, because I've stayed connected with many of my students on social media, and it's like, oh, they've got like 4 kids now, and this and that, and I'm like, holy Christ!
Wow.
That. But anyway,
well,
so
that's cool though. Yeah, generations of, I don't know,
Kids.
shaping minds.
Well, God help them. One last thing. Oh, this is actually at Mel Weezy on Twitter. He just tweeted this. He says, "Are you guys still loving Lethal Weapon?"
That's funny. Are you watching it?
I'm a little behind, but I'm up to the second season. I'm still enjoying it. I like it.
Yeah, I'm very behind actually. I hit like a really, really busy period at the end of last year, and so now it's become one of those things where I have, say, like 7 episodes in my DVR, and it's a little daunting. I got to admit, I'm like, oh boy, like it. When you keep up with something and you're enjoying it, it's one thing, but seeing like a stack of
a backlog,
yeah, it gets a little like, oh, okay, this is, I don't know, it's tough. But I never was disenchanted with the show, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it once I get back to it.
Yeah, low risk, low reward, I think is what I said. It's just, you spend 45 minutes and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
One last thing here. This is a new review for us on iTunes, and this is from Lisa Inami, who she hosts a podcast called "I Love That Movie," which I was able to join her on an episode of recently, where I talked about, of course, Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I do, Brian. But she left a comment for us, or a review, excuse me. She says, great hosts with great chemistry and informative. Brian and Zachy have great host chemistry, and they're pleasant to listen to. This is a great and informative podcast.
Oh, well, thank you.
We're pleasant to listen to, Brian.
Yeah, well, I just wrote down I Love That Movie. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, it's, I'll tell you what I love about that podcast is the whole premise of the show is to sort of be a response to all the let's shit on that movie podcasts.
Okay, sure.
Because there's one that I love, which is How Did This Get Made?
Yes.
And then that spawned a whole subgenre of imitators that are just how many like profane ways can we just rip apart the same bunch of movies?
Mm-hmm, sure.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're doing a bad movie podcast. Well, okay, I can rattle off like 10 that'll be on every one of these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all the same stuff, and it's just, it's really like it gets exhausting. And so what I love about this show is she's just like, no, we love movies on this show, and so she invites guests on. She's like, tell me a movie that you love, we'll watch it, and we'll talk about it. And I'm like,
people who know me well know that sounds like my speed.
Yeah, well, you should.
I love loving things. So
she has. I mean, I'm not saying this just because I happen to be on an episode, but I mean, the people she lines up. What I love is they're so passionate about these movies. And isn't that? I mean, like you don't even have to love it, but you can be like, man, I love how much you love it. Mm-hmm. And that's great. So she had an episode with Tim Rooney, and they talked about Prisoners. Denis Villeneuve. And I'll be honest, I mean, I haven't even thought about Prisoners much after having seen it back in 2013. So to hear them really go into it and stuff is great,
That's cool. I could imagine, wanting to look at the list of movies she's gone down and find the movies that I love, and I will enjoy hearing people talk about a thing that I enjoy.
Yeah. So folks, definitely check out that show. Again, I was on an episode, but honestly, if you listen to Movie Film, you've already heard me talk my ear off about Planet of the Apes. So I would almost say, like, listen to the other ones. You don't need to hear my dumb voice again. Listen to all the other episodes.
Listen to both. Listen to all of them.
All right, moving on. We do have some headlines coming up, but why don't we take a little break, Brian, and then we'll talk about them on the flip side.
Sure.
And we're back. And the Oscars are back, Brian, or they will be back soon.
Yeah, they will.
Now,
what is this? March 4th.
I feel like we do this every year, but like, as a movie show, this topic is always the one where we're like, well, I guess we should talk about this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if begrudging is the right word, but it's just sort of like a, obligation. Or...
Begrudging implies more emotional investment. Because when you say grudge,
Yeah, and that's not to say that I don't enjoy looking at this list.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I don't give it much thought the second I click off of it.
Well, let's just kind of run down the list of nominees real briefly, and then if you have anything to add, we can sort of see. Just for the purposes of completeness, Brian.
Yeah, and I want to add, even before we say them, because I think this will punctuate what I'm saying, but do you think maybe that comes from the fact that it's not much of a surprise what we're seeing here? Like the movies that come out in December that have all the articles written about them, or you receive a screener for them or whatnot, and then when those same movies are all listed, it's just sort of like, yeah, that's about what I expected.
That's a good question. I would actually say no. I think because you and I have been doing this long enough, and by this I don't even mean this show, I mean just being sort of ensconced in movies long enough that the nominees are never really surprises.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right.
But I feel like I care substantially less. Certainly
over the years.
Certainly since we started doing this show. So really the timing is not ideal. But I mean, really, like I'll admit there was a time in my life when I'd be like, "Ooh, the Oscars are tonight," and I'm not planning anything, and like from 6 to 10 or whatever. That's Oscar time, right? Not well in the West Coast, I guess it's earlier, but when we were living in Chicago, and now I just don't care. Like I'll look at the headlines probably later that night, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, see, I was going to ask you because growing up, I was the same. Like I remember watching James Cameron on
Yes.
stage, with Titanic and all that. But I do still watch them for
Yes.
sure. Like I'm not, I don't know, swept up in them or going what? When some upsets happen. Like but I do enjoy watching them still. So
Yeah, I mean, if I was invited to an Oscar party, I suppose
Sure.
I might. Maybe
Well, hey.
maybe this is just me fishing
Come
for an
on down.
invite to somebody's Oscar party.
yeah.
But regardless,
Let's get some
go.
spinach dip, you and I, and we'll.
Okay, so Best Picture nominees we got: Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post. Oh, I suppose by getting shut out, Best Picture is like an okay way of
Sure.
The Shape of Water and Three Billboards. So as you said, no real surprises in that list. Well, no, you know what? Get Out. Kind of a surprise.
I was expecting it.
Really?
Personally, but it is something that does seem not a movie you would expect every year to see a movie like that in there.
That's why, honestly, Get Out is my pick for Best Picture.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's my prediction.
Yeah.
And I think partly it's an overreaction to the whole Oscar so white controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, fine, is this okay?
Right.
Which I would say maybe that's the wrong reason, but a win is a win is a win.
Yeah. Well, and I still haven't seen Call Me by Your Name, and I do intend to, or Darkest Hour. But looking at the others, I'm like, oh, the others are great too. They're fine, but like.
I don't think either of those, Call Me by Your Name or Darkest Hour, are Best Picture material, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and then I'm looking at, say, like The Post, which I really, of course, liked, and Shape of Water, which I kind of liked. But Get Out just really did feel fresh, and I don't feel it was overhyped. I think that's the thing. Sometimes it can be like, okay, we'll put this here because we recognize this is a moment, right?
Yeah.
But I had the opportunity to watch when I was sick a couple weeks ago. I watched most of it again on HBO, and I was like, man, this movie is so original.
Yeah.
And it's so expertly executed, it's juggling so many things, and it's so well done. I mean, it really is an accomplishment. And so I think if it won, I would be like, yeah, that really earned it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see potentially sort of the genre working against it,
Sure.
but completely separate from the awards. I mean, people are going to be watching, analyzing, and discussing Get Out for decades.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just a
I
fact.
agree.
In lead actor, we got Timothée Chalamet from Call Me by Your Name, which you haven't seen. Daniel Day-Lewis, and you loved him in Phantom Thread.
It's good. Good movie, too. I like that movie.
Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel. I'm wondering how Denzel Washington snuck in here, not because he's bad in that movie, but because the movie is not particularly good.
Do you think that was James Franco's spot?
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
It just occurred to me right now. I was
Yeah, quite
this feels
possibly.
a little like, huh?
Yeah, because of course the Franco allegations happened the night of his Golden Globe win, and that's when ballots were still out for the Oscars. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I wonder.
I think this one is Gary Oldman's to lose. I think he should go ahead and make room on his mantle. I would say if there is a potential spoiler, it's possibly Timothée Chalamet. That's my opinion.
He was in Lady Bird also.
He was, yes,
Yeah.
and he's also in the new Woody Allen movie.
Oh, yeah, and he's been one of the people who's sort of spoken out. And I think
Yeah, he's like,
donated
I'm
his salary.
donating my salary to charity or something like that.
Time's Up or something, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Lead actor Sally Hawkins, Shape of Water, Frances McDormand, Margot Robbie, Saoirse Ronan, and Meryl Streep. This one's going to be Margot Robbie, I'm predicting.
You think? I would... That would be my choice, personally, but I wonder, Frances McDormand. I don't know. Or maybe that movie's picked up too much.
I feel like some of the negative mojo about the movie may have affected the conversation, but I think it's between the two of them. If I were to guess, I would say Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that would be my pick. Personally.
Yeah. Supporting actor Woody Harrelson. I was happy to see him get a nomination because I think he deserved it for Three Billboards.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Rockwell also for Three Billboards. Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water. Oh, Willem Dafoe's in Florida Project, which I don't know. Did you ever watch that?
No, I actually have it here, and I need. Well, do I need? Have you seen it?
I have seen Florida Project. Yeah,
it was very buzzed about at some point, and then it seems like
it's
lost
worth watching.
steam.
No, it's worth watching.
Is it a downer?
I mean, it's not a upper.
Yeah. So be in a mood. Like, be ready.
Be in a mood.
It's a drama.
And then Christopher Plummer for his
this little gig he had for a week about a month ago.
Christopher Plummer stealing Kevin Spacey's Oscar nomination.
But he's that good in it. I actually am like, yeah, he was that good in it.
I mean, but that's astonishing. I mean, that's good work if you can get it.
Sure. Right,
hey, can you come in for a couple days and just do this thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You get an Oscar nomination at the tail end of it.
Huh. Yeah, I can just picture him reading his paper and someone telling him, he's like, what's that now? You've been nominated. That thing you just did. Oh.
All right. That's nice.
And he set a record, right? He's the oldest Oscar Best Actor nominee ever or something.
How old is Christopher Plummer? He is 88.
I was just going to say, top of my head, I was going to say 81. Wow, 88.
88, wow. Well, this one, I'm predicting Willem Dafoe for this.
Okay.
That's and I say that partly because we gave it to Willem Dafoe in the San Francisco critics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm biased, but I would say, I don't know, man. You know, I think Sam Rockwell's got a lot of buzz, but I just feel like that movie is becoming problematic in the conversation, and I wonder how that's gonna, if it's dragging people down a little bit.
Yeah.
Supporting actress Mary J. Blige, Mudbound, which I have not seen.
Same. That's a Netflix thing,
That's
right?
a Netflix movie, yeah. Allison Janney, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf, Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer for Shape of Water. I'm calling it for Allison Janney.
Yeah, I think so. And she does a good job.
Yeah. Although I got to be honest, if we're talking about like sort of horrific mothers, or conflict with mothers, I would give it to Laurie Metcalf.
I kind of agree. I mean, obviously from our top 10 list, I was a big fan of I, Tonya, and I think Allison Janney does a good job, but it's a showy performance.
I've been a fan of Allison Janney since way earlier than somebody my age would be a fan of Allison Janney. Like, I was a high school sophomore and I loved her for some reason, you know?
Right.
And then, of course, The West Wing. So I'm like, give her all the awards. That's fine. But if I'm honest, I think Laurie Metcalf has a much more nuanced and interesting performance. I felt like Allison Janney's, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little dialed up for me.
Yep, for exactly what you just said. Yeah. I completely agree.
And then lastly here, what we'll talk about is the Best Director Award. Christopher Nolan got his very first director nomination.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
I know. It's it's a little surprising.
He got his first nomination and his first loss, so he will not be winning for Dunkirk. No. We have Jordan Peele for Get Out. First time out the chute. He gets a Best Director.
His first film.
That's nuts. Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig, Phantom Thread, Paul Thomas Anderson, Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro. Now this one is interesting. I'm predicting it's between Jordan Peele and Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I think so too.
But who do you think has the wind at their back?
I have no idea. I mean, this is one of those things where you just can't, I don't know. You can't predict this.
Like if what I could see happening is a Best Director, Best Picture split with Get Out getting Best Director and Del Toro getting Best Director.
That, you know what? I think that sounds about right.
Right, because I think, I mean, Shape of Water is just a better directed movie in terms of all the pieces involved. That's not in any way diminishing what Jordan Peele did, but I feel like there's an element of craftsmanship that's represented by Shape of Water that Guillermo del Toro is worthy of here. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a really immersive vision.
Yeah.
Right? More so than all the other movies. And also, I think, sometimes the Oscars can be about giving love to a career.
Yes.
I wonder if it's time they want to.
The director of Blade 2 got his Oscar.
Right.
I think it's time. One last thing I'll just mention here, the animated feature, one of these things is not like the other. We got Loving Vincent, about Vincent van Gogh. We got Ferdinand, the Bull movie with John Cena. Coco, which, by the way, will win.
Yeah. We have winner Coco.
We have winner Coco. The Breadwinner. And then The Boss Baby.
Yeah. I have not seen The Boss Baby.
I have.
Yeah.
It's you know what? I'm not even anti Boss Baby. I'm not down on it like a lot of people. That this category tells me that people did not watch the nominees.
Sure.
People like, I need something for slot 5. I guess Boss Baby.
Right. I don't know off the top of my head what would replace it. I can't think of an animated
Lego
film.
Batman, maybe.
Oh, that's what I remember. There was one that people were saying, yeah, which could probably as easily take that slot. I mean, that was a fun movie.
Oh, and one other thing that's worth mentioning is Logan got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah.
And this is the first creative nomination for for a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that show is coming up in early March, I think it is.
March 4th.
March 4th. And Jimmy Kimmel's hosting again.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he went. He did a good job, actually.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's hosting the Oscars, the most thankless. Like, I don't know why people. You know what I mean? It's you're basically a bullet taker for 3 hours because no matter what you do, you're going to get negative reviews.
Yeah.
Although I think it would be hard to top the badness of when James Franco and Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, that was such a bizarre experiment almost.
It's fun. I think you need to view that was like 2011 as I recall. It's like a piece of performance art where Franco became more disengaged and uninterested the longer the show went on, and to compensate, Anne Hathaway became like manic and like crazy.
Yeah.
And so
it was such an odd pairing. It's almost like you could see Franco and Rogan, Rogan or someone, or like it was just the energies were mismatched a little bit.
Very much so, yeah. So that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we will talk. We'll express our disinterest after that show airs. We'll be back. We were talking about Steven Spielberg.
Boss Baby. Now we're damned. When it wins, beats Coco.
That's right. Well, there we go. Who knew? Yeah. We were talking about Steven Spielberg earlier. Steven Spielberg has a remake of West Side Story coming up.
Huh?
That's a weird one, right?
He's been saying for a long time that he's always wanted to make a musical.
Yeah.
And that was he scratched that itch a little bit at the opening of Temple of Doom.
That's right.
And he said that, I think, when he refers to that moment, he's like, I've always wanted to make a musical. And that was me just toying with it a little bit. So, I was trying to think about this. I mean, if you're this guy and you want to make this musical, I mean, do you really want to make a new one? That seems like a lot of work. You know what I mean? Or do you go to songs that are already proven winners and already kind of have something?
Yeah, but even if you're Steven Spielberg, why do you like West Side Story is already a classic?
I agree with this, and so and it's beloved, and people still watch this movie, right?
Yes.
It's not, so it's a little curious that what does he want to update or change or do differently? I don't know.
It's odd. I mean, it's hard for me to muster much interest in a Spielberg directed West Side Story. I'm like, do a musical. There's plenty of Broadway musicals that have not been made into movies.
That's a good point too.
Do Cats, Steve.
Well, his sort of old school camera work style, I think, is going to suit it really well. And so for that reason, and I don't know if I talk about this much. Someone actually just today was asking me about musicals, and I was like, I know a lot of people are like, I'll watch anything with musicals. I actually don't mind musicals if they're good. 'Cause I like music, and if it's and they're spectacles visually and whatnot. So I tend to not. It's fine if they're all right, but so of course I'm going to be there. I'll check it out.
And Brian, by the way,
it's not something that I feel like he needs to be spending his time on. Let's put it that way.
You're talking about the audience for musicals. I mean, Greatest Showman is extremely leggy. It's doing really well.
Yeah, it kind of it didn't come out of the gate very well, but it's finding its audience.
It's hanging in there, and I have not seen it, so I can't speak for the film specifically. But I mean, people are. I see it on my social media all the time. People are like, I can't stop listening to the soundtrack, etc. So I mean, there is an audience for this stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just think it's almost like sacrilege or something. It's like one of those musicals. It's like, no, they did it.
Yeah.
Like it exists, and it's the way we like it.
Right.
So it's just a curious thing that he must have some sort of idea if he's going to spend his time on it, but you just wonder. And then people were worried about Indiana Jones 5, or I don't know if they're worried, but they were wondering where that was.
I think people are. It's very weird because the fan community is very schizophrenic. Because on the one hand, they're like, wait, you're going to do West Side Story before Indiana Jones 5, but those are the same people who are like, wait, you're doing Indiana Jones 5?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there was a consternation for about a minute and a half. Where people were like, "Oh, he's doing West Side Story next," and then because the internet is the internet, people kind of lost their mind, and then it's like, no, Indy 5 is coming next, which brings me back. He's
beginning casting with West Side Story because he's saying it's dependent on casting, so let's get it started now.
Now, talking about Indiana Jones 5. Has the needle moved for you at all? Because as I recall, last time we talked about it, you were apathetic at the prospect.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I would love to see him take another crack at it and sort of have learned from what people didn't like at the last one. Because then I love Indiana Jones. Of course, I want to see another Indiana Jones movie. Especially with them having hindsight and sort of course correcting a little bit. On the other hand, you have to face reality and be like, what could this movie possibly be with our action hero literally in his 70s?
Yeah.
We still love Harrison Ford. We like him in Blade Runner and whatnot. But, I mean, can you imagine as a kid going to see a movie with an action hero in his 70s?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because I was just watching Blade Runner 2049 last night, and I'm watching the scene where Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford they're having a fist fight in the the hologram room or whatever, what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, he's an old dude.
Yeah.
Like he's old. He's like the same age as my dad. right? And I'm like, I don't want my dad to be, in a fist fight with somebody or swinging over a ravine or whatever. That's just because I'll be watching this old man almost dying, and that makes me feel uncomfortable, right?
That's really funny that you put it that way, because that's what we want to see Indy doing. We want to see him swinging over ravines, and but we don't want to see an older man taking several repeated punches to the face.
Yeah, because in Indy 4, remember he's fighting that big Russian dude?
Kinda. I'm not being facetious here.
Towards the end of remember the guy who gets eaten by the big giant ants?
I do remember that. Yeah.
So just before that, him and Indy are fighting, and this guy is straight up wailing on Indy, who's in his mid 60s at that point, I think. Yeah. And even that's uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, he's kind of got, and understandably, we all age, but he looks slower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's completely fine because that's what happens. But so do we really need to force this poor guy into those scenarios? Will it be fun to watch?
It's this is something
I think there's. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying. I mean, this is something that I've said to you on this show before, where we can accept Han Solo aging in a way that we can't accept Indiana Jones aging. And
I wonder if that reason was what I was just going to mention, is because they don't put Han Solo in situations he doesn't belong in at that age.
Right.
So I really do feel, but that's what Indiana Jones is. It is a guy swinging from things. But at the same time, I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful I'm hopeful that they'll figure out what that story is, and we'll maybe a send off for the character. If it's going to happen at all, I'd like to imagine they're going to make the best version of that.
There we go.
That's my hope.
There's the Brian Hall answer, folks.
I know it's very predictably me, but I just
whoever
love that
placed your
character.
bet, go see the cashier. That's. But I agree with you, Brian. I agree. And Brian, let me just tell you, the fact that you are so relentlessly optimistic in the face of often dire predictions it's rubbed off on me. God help me.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
it's because I say this all the time on my Facebook. I'm like, I can see the good version, I can see the bad version. I'm always hopeful we'll get the good version.
Yeah.
And that right there, folks, that's a Brian Hall original. TM and copyright. Moving on, we don't just need Steven Spielberg for blockbusters. We've got a massive blockbuster looking like it's heading our way in just a few short weeks. I'm talking about Black Panther, which I mentioned at the outset. It is tracking for a $120 million opening, which I got to be honest, Brian, I think that is undercutting how much it's going to make. I think we're looking at $150 million.
Wow. All right.
I think there's a massive audience that we don't even know about.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think what was I think that's great, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think the thing that it also made me think was typically we associate a movie making that kind of money with the summer.
Yes.
Like February, it's like, it's kind of an extension of January and whatnot. And I kind of love this idea. It's like, no, we're putting a big movie out in February, and it's going to make this amount of money. And then, you get I remember the Batman, Superman thing came out in March, and we've got Fast and Furious spilling into April. And like, why not pepper it all out? Why?
Yeah, and I mean, Black Panther's opening the same weekend that Deadpool did 2 years ago. And I mean, you talk about a bolt out of the blue. I mean, that movie, I don't think anybody predicted it would make as much money as it did in its opening weekend.
I know it seems inevitable now, but at the time, no way.
Right, and it's funny because I was thinking how movie 2 is going to be in this summer, and I feel like they almost should have kept that February weekend because you got the playing field to yourself for God knows how long, I mean, maybe Marvel, got Black Panther in there beforehand or whatever, but I feel like it's almost a disservice to drop Deadpool into the summer because it's going to have to fend for itself amidst all this other stuff,
Well, it seems like they're gleefully positioning it against Han Solo.
That's right. Doesn't it feel like a little bit like sharks smelling blood in the water?
Yeah, and I think you can only imagine the fun that they'll have, with Twitter posts and little meme things that they make, poking fun at what's supposed to be the biggest fish in the pond.
Yeah. And I mean, Sony just announced they're doing a third Jumanji.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And they scheduled it, I think, the week after Star Wars Episode 8, or Episode 9, excuse me.
Ballsy.
So a little bit... Now that, to me, I feel like Jumanji 2 was kind of a lightning in a bottle situation.
I agree. It was a clever... Someone thought of like, oh yeah, I got a great idea for a sequel to Jumanji.
Yes.
And they were right. And now this is sort of like it's happening because it has to happen.
Yes, and it's funny because I even thought when the movie ended, I was like, if there's going to be another one, I hope they wait till there's like an idea that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like, okay, we got to get The Rock back in there. We got to get Kevin Hart. Like, it will be the product that the second one sort of was, but it made you forget that it was a product.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you already know I'm a MCU fan, obviously, but I'm like a huge Black Panther fan. I've been a fan all my life. Where are you at as far as this movie? Is it just, are you just like, well, I have no reason to believe this won't be just as good as the other ones, and here's another Marvel movie?
No, I think for me, I'm looking forward to it because it looks... What I've enjoyed most about the Marvel movies as they've gone along is how they take... They're doing the same thing. I mean, if you really look at it on paper, they're very, very similar. But what they've wisely done as they've gone along is they've been like, well, this is our spy movie, and this is our John Hughes movie, and this is our whatever. And I feel like this one looks and feels completely different from anything we've seen in the 10 years. So I'm like, well, this is a Marvel movie, but it also looks very different at the same time. You know, we've got this nation that has this like crazy technology, and you know, it just, now this is its own thing, and I look forward to seeing a new thing in a universe that I like.
Very true.
So I'm hopeful for something fun that feels familiar but also feels different.
And as I said, that'll be our topic of conversation 2 episodes from now. And we'll be joined by, once again, by Aaron Newirth, who you might remember talked to us for Justice League. He reached out to me early and he said, hey, I want to join you for Black Panther. So he'll be with us.
Great.
One last headline here. And
I remember that was so much fun, the Justice League, because we were like, we kind of liked it. And he's like, wait, what?
That's right.
I don't think he was prepared for that.
That's right.
I felt kind of bad because I didn't want him to feel bad for not liking it and like not bring up his points. That was a fun conversation because he did. I remember he brought up the things that he had, and that ended up being a fun conversation.
He brought up all those things he was wrong about. No, of course. I found all of his points entirely applicable.
Totally. I look forward to having him back.
Another sequel that may be in the offing is a sequel to RoboCop, Brian.
Hey, the world demands it.
Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, okay, so this is a sequel to the 2014 reboot of RoboCop starring Joel Kinnaman and Michael Keaton.
And you haven't been paying attention to Hollywood lately.
Yeah, that's right. So this is according to Ed Neumeyer, who was one of the writers of the 1987 movie, which celebrated its 30th anniversary last year. Brian, you and I recorded a commentary track.
Yeah.
You might remember, Brian, having participated in that.
I was there.
You were there for that. You contributed words on that track. So Ed Neumeyer says that they are exploring the possibility of doing a sequel to the 1987 RoboCop, which would ignore the other 2 sequels, as well as the TV series, as well as the reboot.
And when I say that this is, you know, if you're not familiar with this, you're not paying attention to Hollywood lately, is because that seems to be the trend now. We're like, we'll acknowledge that the thing we just did is not good. So we're going to make another one, but we're going to ignore the previous things that you didn't like and make a sequel to the thing you did. Right?
Okay.
That's like a total trend now.
You know, it's like, how many bad sequels / reboots of RoboCop do we need to have before we say, you know, the pool has been peed in?
Because even the original sequel back in the same, you know, with the same actor.
Yeah.
Right. Wasn't even, didn't live up to the first one, which I have not seen.
Yeah. Well, I've told this before. I want to get your take on the original RoboCop 2. I'm very curious what you think of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are few movies that I love more than the original RoboCop. Brian, you know me. You know how much I love RoboCop.
I know this. I wonder if there's a hot toy.
I hope not. I'm just like, I read this and I'm like, just stop. It's done. It's over.
I know.
Are you going to get Peter Weller in that suit again?
And obviously not, but I do wonder if they're going to make the suit look like the one that everyone actually loves.
But that's the problem. I've said to you before, Peter Weller doesn't get enough credit for how important he is to that movie's success.
Right.
And it's been 30 years. It's over.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's infuriating to me, and I understand why, because MGM has nothing else but their like 2 or 3 signature properties.
Mm-hmm.
But like, come on, like, to me, the opportunity was with the 2014 movie, not in terms of what it turned out being, but what it could have been. Which was like, if you're gonna like do something different, if not a full-on reboot, do something that mixes it up a little bit and that allows for more sequels. They didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They made sort of an aggressively mediocre movie. That's it. It's over.
Well, I wonder, so one of the examples of what I'm talking about here, ignoring sequels and going back, is a new Terminator movie, right? Where they're saying, forget 3, 4, 5. We're making a sequel to 2. And this is with James Cameron's involvement somehow. So, and I've said, well, I'm skeptical, but I don't know. James Cameron has an idea. I'm kind of curious what it is. Now, this Ed Niemeyer or Newmeyer?
Yeah, Newmeyer.
So he has only been involved with the original, right?
Well, no, he also wrote what became. He wrote a draft for the sequel, which was not used, but which became the pilot of the syndicated TV series.
Oh, I was gonna say, does that give you any little glint of hope that the guy involved with the original is like, well, I've got an idea?
It's not him. Like, I believe that he would have. I mean, I'm more inclined to hear what he has to say than anybody else. However, I really feel like that original RoboCop was this perfect alchemy of the script and the performance and the director.
Right.
So to me, if you can't get Paul Verhoeven back plus Peter Weller back plus the original writers, then why do it? That's number one.
Sure.
Number two, let's say you do get Paul Verhoeven back and Peter Weller back. How would that not be disappointing 30 years later?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Well, I
Hollywood.
guess we're gonna find out.
Well, my prediction is this thing does not even get made.
Yeah, that's true. This is talk.
I think it's exceedingly optimistic.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of exceedingly optimistic, before we take a break, I'm curious about your thoughts on this. Ryan Reynolds is using his newfound Deadpool clout to get behind a remake of Clue.
Doesn't this feels like one of those things I wouldn't be surprised if it was like an April Fool's Day story.
Right. Now, you're a big fan of the movie Clue, aren't you?
I'm actually not.
Oh.
I don't dislike it, but I'm not. Like, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I've seen it maybe once or twice. I'm not one of those sort of passionate fans. I have friends who are passionate fans, so I'm definitely not one of those. But this does. What is enjoyable about that movie is its weird, almost like British, like sort of wit and zaniness, and the humor of that is what makes that film so delightful, I guess.
Yes.
And it's just, I'm curious what this is going to be, because Ryan Reynolds has his shtick is enjoyable, but it is very much suited to Deadpool.
Yes.
And my point being, he has come out with, everybody's like, I love Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, well, he's been around for a long time. You just haven't watched any of the other things. Like, you enjoy him as Deadpool. And and I like, Just Friends and those films and stuff. But like, what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Remember that movie Life that came out last year, which was basically a remake of Alien?
Yes.
And he was in it. I'm just gonna spoil it, because if you haven't seen it now, you're not going to, and I don't think you should. He has this little cameo in the first 20 minutes where he's the first person killed.
Okay.
And he's the I assume probably the hook in the advertising to bring you in. And he basically shows up in this Alien remake being Ryan Reynolds and throwing together like really creative R-rated dirty names to call people and stuff, that it was just no one else. I just remember that's what stood out to me. No one else in the movie was talking like the way he was talking. And then he got killed, and it almost just felt like he didn't even have a script. Like, be Ryan Reynolds. And then he was a sore thumb to me in that movie. And so I'm just trying to picture his brand of comedy. And I'm not knocking his brand of comedy. He does what he does well, obviously, and that's why Deadpool succeeded. But I'm trying to picture his brand of comedy in Clue. Or is he hoping to do something different? I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. Now, again, my prediction is that this movie does not get made.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting, because it comes from the team that wrote the original Deadpool. I mean, all these people are hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who also wrote G.I. Joe Retaliation, by the way.
Oh, well, touche.
Which is and I'm not saying that as a ding, actually, because I like G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Was that the second one?
That's with The Rock.
Yeah.
Brian did not like G.I. Joe Retaliation.
I mean, I don't.
I liked it as a fan of G.I. Joe, just to be clear.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I'm just curious. And like, will they go? One of the charming things also about the original Clue is the multiple endings.
Right.
So I mean, it's like, what can you do differently? Like, what are you going to add?
You know what you can do differently, Brian? You don't make it, which is what's going to happen. and I'm not because I think the original Clue is some sacred work of art. Come on, how many of these types of movies are announced that never get made?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just curious.
We shall see, Brian, but we can ponder the possibilities during this break right now.
All right.
And we're back, and we will wrap up this episode with Star Wars news, as is our tendency. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about some trailers that kind of flew under our radar, amazingly enough. I'm kind of
just packed episodes. Sometimes we typically, if we have a little outline we go off of, but when things go long, the trailers are the first things to go.
That's true. So it's a peek behind the curtain, and that is the reason we have not, up to this moment, talked about the trailer for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, which arrives this summer. And here is a little bit of audio from that.
I know why we're here. A rescue op. Save the dinosaurs from the island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Blue is alive. You raised her.
So J.A. Bayona directed this one, but Colin Trevorrow is still involved. He came up with the story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've talked before about how your opinion of Jurassic World, the original one, has kind of cooled since you first saw it.
Yeah, when I saw it in the theater, I had a blast. But as I've caught it on cable and whatnot, I just don't find myself really wanting to stay on the channel.
Yeah.
Whereas Jurassic Park, I mean, that's what we're doing tonight. If I'm flipping and I stop on it, then
and Jurassic Park, by the way, turns 25 this year.
What?
And to celebrate, we will be dropping a Jurassic Park commentary track between now and June. So look forward to that.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I remember when we talked about Jurassic World, either during the actual episode or in one of the ones after, you talked about how it felt like Chris Pratt was not as Chris Pratty as he normally is.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like this, at least what we're seeing of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they've sort of addressed that.
Yeah, it seems like they're up the Pratt.
Let Pratt be Pratt.
Yeah.
Don't let Pratt fall.
Yeah. Pratt away, Meryl. And which makes sense because that's what people like about him, and frankly, yeah, that's why I kind of want to see a wisecracking guy. I want to see Chris Pratt on screen, but man, I don't know.
Not feeling it.
A lot for me, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna see it, and I'll probably have the same experience. I'll probably enjoy the thrills in the 2-hour time frame that I'm there, but I have a feeling it probably won't stick with me.
So for me, I've said before how, especially my oldest kid, he's like a huge Jurassic Park fan. Mm-hmm. And so when they released the trailer, I made sure to not let him see it. So I kept him, so he had no idea there was a trailer coming. So his first exposure to this movie was in front of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh, okay.
And
what was his response?
Yeah, and he was sitting, when we went to see it, he was sitting 4 seats down, and the trailer starts, and I kind of lean forward to look at him, and he looks at me, he's like, Jurassic World! He had this high pitch, and I'm like, he's the audience,
That's awesome. Yep.
And so that was enough for me. So afterwards, I'm like, hey, what'd you think of the Jurassic World trailer? And he's like, Ian Malcolm was in it!
That's great. Yeah.
And I'm like, how many kids know that,
Yeah, right.
And so I love that we got a glimpse of Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum in this. I hope it's substantial, but I think even Goldblum has said that it's basically just a cameo.
Yeah, sure.
Which kind of sucks,
I hope he doesn't get eaten.
Yeah, if I were to guess, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, assuming this one does well, which I have no reason to think it won't, I doubt very much it's going to perform at the high level that Jurassic World did. I think it's going to be it's going to be Force Awakens, Last Jedi type of situation.
Okay.
Right? Because I think what we saw with Jurassic World was the same outpouring of just nostalgic fervor.
Yeah, sure.
And this is not going to be that. And so, to some extent, it may be perceived as a disappointment because of that.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I can see that.
You know, but I mean, I hope they find a way to get the original trio back in there. I mean, Sam Neill he's still got it. He can be an older Alan Grant. Laura Dern has not aged at all because she drinks baby blood or something. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
And Jeff Goldblum is just more Goldblumier.
I would love to see the three of them together.
Yeah. So make that happen, Hollywood.
Come on, guys.
I will say, based on what we saw in the trailer, it felt like, okay, so they're kind of giving away the farm here. But what Colin Trevorrow has said is that everything we see in the trailer is like the first half hour of the movie.
All right, that's cool.
So I would assume that means that there's a lot of surprises that they're keeping hidden.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, when I say, to me, this is like a theme park ride.
Yes.
Like in some movies, it's okay that they're just theme park rides. I don't need to think about it later, and I don't need to watch it later. I just, if I have fun for 2 hours, I hope for that. So, and your kid's gonna have a good time, so that makes it worth it alone.
That'll be fun, yeah. So look for this one, June 22nd, 2018. Another trailer for another sequel. I feel like this one is maybe even less demanded than most. I don't know. This is Ocean's 8.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play some of the audio from this.
In 3.5 weeks, the Met will be hosting its annual ball. And we are going to rob it. Not the ball itself.
On the neck of Daphne Kluger.
Valued at over $100 million.
It's 150 million, actually.
So we talked about this one way back in the day. We talked about this and the Expendables.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Remember that? There was a thing that they were threatening, which ultimately didn't happen. So this would be considered like a side quel or a spin-off quel to the Ocean's movies.
Because the main character is related.
She is Debbie Ocean, Danny Ocean's sister, played by Sandra Bullock. So this movie stars Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Mindy Kaling, Sarah Paulson, Awkwafina, Rihanna, Helena Bonham Carter, and James Corden.
Yeah, I think we're looking at the same list. Yeah, and Carl Reiner.
Oh, so Carl Reiner's there.
He's the bridge.
To be the bridge. Yeah. Oh, and Matt Damon also.
Oh, Matt Damon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like that would be like some sort of cameo you'd want to keep secret.
Yeah. Right. Good point. So this is directed by Gary Ross, who did. I remember him from Pleasantville, but he also did the first Hunger Games.
Okay.
Now this is. I mean, it feels like this is part of this trend of like female versions of popular franchises. Am I stepping in something here? I don't know.
I was like, go on.
I feel like I'm walking blind through a minefield.
No, I think you're right.
There are other examples, right? I'm drawing a total blank.
I know, same here. But it does feel, when it was announced, it did feel a little bit like a response.
Yes.
Certainly to a call that was being put out into Hollywood to feature more female-centric movies, for sure. I think, so watching the trailer, it feels like an Ocean movie.
Yes.
Right? And for, I'd say, for better, and I wouldn't say worse, but for better or for okay. like they already kind of exhausted themselves, I think, by Ocean's 13.
Yes.
Like the sort of like people who are a little too hip for their own good and gonna pull off an impossible heist. So I was expecting it to feel actually a little slightly different.
Yes.
But I was surprised by how familiar it felt.
Yes.
Even almost like a little out of time or something. Like it feels like a movie from about 15 years ago or so. I don't know. I really don't have any feelings toward it. Like
what? Here's what I think. I think it looks like, oh, if you like those other ones, you'll probably like this, unless you're
That is
just
a
a
good way of putting it.
sexist idiot. I mean, for real, right? Like, there's unless you're like, it's oceans with girls. I don't see any other reason for you to dismiss this out of hand. Is my point.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree with that. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Now, that's not to say the movie can't be shit, because that's, of course, failure is an option, to quote James Baldwin, right? But based on what we see here, hey, if it's great, that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree, because I like heist movies, because I'm always like, my favorite thing, and that's why it's so difficult for movies these days, because they aren't very surprising, but my favorite thing is to be in a theater and see a hero get into some sort of situation where you're like, I have no idea how they're getting out of this.
Yeah.
You know, and to know that the movie has an ending and someone already thought it out, and I don't know what it is. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I like heist movies so much, because they're always throwing their characters in these precarious situations. Everything always goes wrong, and they find clever ways out of them. So if this is one of those movies where they really, really do that, hey, that's awesome.
You
but
know
like
what?
at the same time, like you say, the Ocean's tone,
Yeah.
I think I got a little burnt out on it. So that's why maybe this didn't really
But you know
grab
what,
me,
though,
but-
Brian? It's been long enough now, because the last one was like 2008, I think. 2007. 2007
Mm-hmm.
it was,
Wow.
right? So
Wow.
there's a little bit of nostalgia there. And the other here's honestly, I would love for this to do well enough to spawn its own trilogy, just so that we could have Oceans 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Whoa! I wonder if they even thought of that. It's so perfect.
Right? I mean, I would assume that the budget is sensible. I can't imagine that they blew through a whole lot of money on this. Mm-hmm. So, hey, good for them.
Yeah, great. And then Sandra Bullock. I mean, I like all these people.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. I can see Kate Blanchett is obviously going to be kind of the Brad Pitt of these.
Yeah.
You know. So going from female empowerment to female disempowerment, we have the sequel to Sicario. Sicario 2, The Bloodening, I think it's called.
Right.
Sicario 2 Soldado is what it's called. And let's play the trailer for some of the audio from this, and then we can talk about it.
You want to see this thing through? I'm gonna have to get dirty. Turning you loose. How loose? No rules this time. Adios.
All right, so this is one of those trailers that I forgot was like even coming. I didn't know I forgot the movie was coming.
Yeah, same.
It's weird because Sicario is one of my favorite movies of 2015. Was it 2015 when it came out?
Something like that, right? 15, 14.
2015, yeah, it was 2015.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve, yeah, so of course that had
yeah.
me interested as a result of that. But I don't know. I don't really see the need for a sequel, especially because the sequel is following Benicio del Toro's character, but they left out the main character of the movie was Emily Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I say it's female disempowerment. I'm like, what made Sicario unique is it was told through Emily Blunt's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels a little like Huntsman 2, or sorry,
Right.
Huntsman
That's right.
Winter's War, you know?
Yeah.
It
The
feels
Snow White
exactly
sequel
like
that didn't
that.
have Snow White.
Yeah. But you just
yeah.
saw the trailer. What did you think of the trailer?
I didn't. When you say, "Do you want to see Sicario 2?" I'm kind of like, not really. Even though I did enjoy Sicario,
Because that movie ends and you're like, I want to go home and take a shower and kiss my kids and not think about this, you know?
Yeah, and it was well done, but I mean, I don't know that I was dying to know what was happening next necessarily. And I really do enjoy sort of the crime stories, and I watched what's it called on Netflix, the one about Escobar, Narcos. And it's funny because I really love Narcos 1 and 2, seasons 1 and 2, and then when I watched season 3, I watched the first episode and I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I just sort of hit my peak with it, and so I was wondering if I'd feel the same way about this. But having just watched the trailer, I was like, no, this looks like a well-made movie.
Yes.
It doesn't look like something I need to rush out to, but at the same time, I imagine on a night when I'm in the mood, this looks like a smart, competent crime film.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that one is coming out this summer.
Yeah. Wait, what was your opinion?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I mean, I did find the Del Toro character really interesting. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if to borrow one of your phrases, if he's better as the stew in the dish.
Right. A spice
in the stew.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and I'm quoting someone else when I say it too, by the way.
I screwed it up either way. So the spice in the stew in the dish. What the hell? I'm a teacher, y'all. I wonder if he will work as well as the main course.
Sure.
I do feel like the what he needs to do is to stutter.
yeah.
Because that's obviously what the missing ingredient.
Yeah. Do you wonder Rian Johnson was like, okay, or do you think that was like built into the script?
I mean, like I'm wondering how did that conversation go? Because either Rian Johnson went to him and was like, "Hey, he stutters," and then Benicio del Toro does this like Porky Pig imitation, and he's like, "Sounds good," which that's not good. Or Del Toro comes to him, he's like, "I think he should do this," and he does this Porky Pig imitation, and Rian Johnson's like, "Hey, I didn't think of that before, but sounds good."
Yeah, there's something I don't know. I find myself when people do that and it doesn't feel like it needed to be there.
Yes.
There's a part of you that's anticipating every time they open their mouths. Is this the time he's going to do it again?
Right.
I found myself doing that watching him. In that movie.
It got old very fast.
Yeah.
And we're talking, by the way, about his character DJ in Star Wars The Last Jedi, which allows us to pivot to Star Wars news, Brian.
Ba-cha-chow!
Based on the music that I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, there is no Star Wars news.
yeah. It came out. What do you want?
It came out. I'm done talking about it. I really, I feel like if you were to say, hey, sum up January 2018 in a single image, I would show you a screen grab of a tweet by porn star Stormy Daniels, known today as the porn star who was paid $130,000 to hide the fact that she slept with President Trump, Stormy Daniels, who put on her Twitter feed, "F you, Rian Johnson."
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I feel like Rian Johnson should have responded by saying, "Do you have $130,000?" But beyond that, I'm like, this is the moment where we've officially jumped the shark on talking about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I really do feel pretty exhausted on it.
I mean, Rian Johnson's been sort of making the rounds, talking it up or discussing it on social media, whatever. I almost feel I almost wish he would not talk about it on social media.
Is there anything specific? 'Cause he's done a couple things. We can bring up one or two of them that I thought were kind of funny, actually. But do you mean those things, or is there something specific he said, or something he's saying you wish he wouldn't?
Like he did this one thing where he showed like a thing in a book.
Yes.
Whereas, like, look, it's from like 2010 or whatever. Like, oh, Jedi can project themselves with the Force, or whatever. Like, all of that is fine,
Yeah, sure.
But I think it all adds to this sort of impression, rightly or wrongly, that he's in like a defensive crouch.
Yes.
And I feel like I'll tell you, the Star Wars fan community has really shown a nasty side of itself in the last month.
Yeah, I get a little tired because, for a recap quickly, I've seen it 3 times. I didn't know what I thought the first time. By the third time, I have my quibbles, but it's fine. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it enough. And it's just I'm tired though of every now and then I'll click on some article with a quote by him that I'm like, I'm kind of curious what he has to say about this. And then I go to the comment section and it's all irrational hatred.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or irrational comments. You know what I mean? Like there's no... It's just like, this is just... Don't bring this into my Star Wars pool.
Yeah, and I mean, even for me, like, I'll post an occasional article on my social media feed, be it Twitter or Facebook, and inevitably it just erupts into the same shit again and again and again. People writing goddamn novels excoriating this movie. And I'm saying, look, it's cool that you dislike it. Truly, you're free to like what you, but it's like you get, like switch the tune. You know, let's dance to a different beat here. You know.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, because it's like people are free to not like it. That's fine.
Yes. I mean, it honestly, it feels like the inverse, at least for me, it feels like the inverse of the Batman v Superman conversation.
Sure.
Where it's like people just drew up these battle lines where you have on the far left is or far right, whatever. On one side you have like, this is the worst movie, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, including car wrecks, you know. And then you have people who are like, this movie transcends time, and it cured cancer, and it's made my erections more powerful. I mean, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, can we just find somewhere in the middle where we say, look, I liked this part of it, this didn't work so well for me, so it's kind of like a B- or C+. And I say this is somebody who gave that movie a D.
A D?
Yeah, I gave it a D. BVS, I mean.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Last Jedi. I was like,
no, Last Jedi was like my number 2 movie of the year. Come on, I'm saying BVS.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, right? Like I'm like, look, there's a middle ground here, you know. And I feel like to some extent the internet, coupled with just fanboy culture in general, has led to this coarsening of how we deal with each other, you know.
Yeah. I'm really tired of the like completely like you are either team green or team red. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like it's a little more complicated than that. But I mean, that's seeping into just life these days.
That's true.
Sadly.
That's very true, Brian. That's a good point.
But it's easier to an easiir way to communicate, sadly, you know, in little blips and blops.
Welcome to Trump's America.
right.
In other Star Wars news, there is no Star Wars news because we're like 4 months away from what is, I'm assuming, going to be the next Star Wars movie, Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
I mean, what I read is that in China, they're not even going to call it a Star Wars story.
That's kind of fascinating on its own, isn't it? The fact that Star Wars just doesn't sell in China, so now they're actually not even using the most powerful name and branded. You know,
You're right. They're going to call it's going to be called Ranger Solo.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if they really took to that?
Right. I know.
And that was what got it.
I think if you want that movie to do well, you call it Fast and Furious. just that.
Right.
Because Fast and Furious is in China what Star Wars is here in America, you know?
Oh, that's...
Yeah. I mean,
but we were saying it's kind of crazy that we still have not seen a trailer.
yeah, nothing. Forget trailer, Brian. We have not seen a set photo. We have not seen an official photo. We have seen nothing.
You're right, because the only image we've seen so far was a leaked picture from merchandise.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's part of me that can kind of appreciate the fact that they don't want to step on Last Jedi.
Yes.
So let December and even into early January be about Last Jedi. But, you know, now we're just a couple months away, and it does seem like we would at least see an image.
You know what's weird is that if the movie was scheduled for December, few people would necessarily even bat an eye over this.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder why they didn't just push it to December, when they had the chance to, you know, through under the like, oh well, because of the director change, we need a little bit more time. I don't think people would have been like, oh, the movie's in trouble. But now, in the absence of any information, people are creating their own narratives, right?
Right.
And it's weird because this feels very unlike Disney to not anticipate how these fan reactions can sort of ferment in the absence of an official, like, here's this. And here's your this trailer, you know, because we're gonna have maybe 2 trailers. You
typically have your teaser and then your trailer 1. Well, actually, then you have your trailer 2. Typically.
Now I'm trying to remember how soon after Force Awakens did we get our first look at Rogue One.
Oh, that's a good question. I really don't know.
Yeah,
but it. I don't know. Almost makes you wonder if they're not sold. Like maybe they're not cementing themselves into anything, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is complete speculation, and we've heard rumors of people not being happy with the product, but I don't know. And then it leads. You don't give us anything. It leads to us saying these things. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm in the movie's corner. I've been saying
Me
all
too.
along. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. But
you know what it has working against it though is if this was some sort of, pocket of the universe Star Wars film. That's one thing, but this is about like one of the most beloved characters
in movie
in
history.
Star Wars. So it's not some little, well, that thing came out in May, and it didn't perform like we thought.
And by the
but
way,
it's fine.
Brian, first Rogue One the teaser trailer was April of 2016.
Okay, which makes sense though because it was a December
Yes.
film.
So this one, they need to drop it, I mean, soon. I would assume for sure it'll be in front of Black Panther.
Sure. Well, I was going to say the Super Bowl's coming up, so I mean, you imagine that would be a.
So you
good spot.
think we'll get like a Super Bowl spot and then like a full trailer in front of in front of Black Panther?
I would imagine there'll be something for the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, I guess we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see what happens. But that is the end of our time together, Brian.
Aw.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, I enjoyed it. I, for one, had a good time.
I did too, man. This is I can think of worse ways to spend a Saturday night than talking movies with my movie film pal.
Yeah.
So as we wind things down, we will be back in a couple weeks with our early February roundup, and we'll have some new releases to discuss. But until then, is there anything you want to hype up for the people out there listening?
Well, I always let people know that I work for a show called Puppy Dog Pals, which is a fun Disney animated TV show that I think, you have young kids, or if you really love adorable puppies doing fun, adorable things, I think you're going to like it. So check it out on Disney and Disney Junior.
There we go. And as for me, you can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram. You can also hear me on the latest episode of the Batman on Film podcast. They did a special satellite episode about Superman in cinema, which, Brian, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm kind of a Superman fan.
Oh, well, then I guess I'm curious what you'd have to say about it on that podcast.
I have opinions, Brian. So I joined hosts Rick Shu and Justin Kowalski, as well as guest Shiraz Faruqi, and it was a fun conversation. Actually, nobody threw anything, and we managed to encompass the totality of the Reeve, Routh, Cavill trifecta, and had some really worthwhile points. So I had a fun time participating. I have a feeling if you like this show, you will enjoy hearing that as well. And with that, I'm going to wrap things up. But before I do, please go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. If you have a question or comment for us, reach out to us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. And we'll be back. We'll be back soon. I'm very excited for some of the big stuff we have planned commentary-wise in the weeks and months ahead. I already mentioned Jurassic Park, but we do have more coming up, so stay tuned for that. And on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 140, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and